And Becky, we are good to go.
It's now 6 o'clock. Let me see if I can get my video on. Okay. So at 6 o'clock, I will be calling the meeting to order. This meeting is accessible to people with disabilities. Microphones or telephones will be used by all speakers. Large print materials are available upon advance request. If you would like either of these accommodations, please contact Mary Waldron at 508-583-1833. The Notice of Non-Discrimination Rights and Protections to Beneficiaries with regard to the federal Title VI non-discrimination protections and the state non-discrimination protections is posted in the meeting room and is available on the Old Colony Planning Council website. Please contact Mary Waldron at 508-583-1833 for more information. Thank you. And with that, Mary, could you do roll call?
Bill, and ask Megan to bring the roll call up because I am not in my office where I usually have it. Do you have it, Megan?
Sorry, 1 second. I shared my app and not the, hold on, I'm going to unshare for a second.
See what I told you? Get rusty a little bit here. Not you,
Right.
Megan, me.
Hold on. The screen is acting up.
I should know this by heart.
Can you see
So-
that or do you mean to make it bigger?
Nope, that's okay. I can do that. Abington,
Present.
thank you. Avon. Present. John Costa as well.
Alternate.
Thank you. Bridgewater,
Present.
Bob Rulli, alternate present.
thank you. Brockton,
Delegate present.
Alternate present?
thank you. Duxbury. Believe that no one was able to attend. East Bridgewater,
Present.
thank you, Peter. Easton,
Present.
thank you, Jean Marie. Halifax. Hanover, I know Rhonda was trying to make it, but I don't think she was able to. Hanson,
Delegate present.
thank you, Tony. Kingston. I don't believe that Val is here. Thank you. Pembroke,
Delegate present. And our alternate is present as well, right?
yes, Alicia's on. Lee Hartman. Oh, go ahead, Lee Hartman. Sorry, that was Plymouth. Plimpton. Stoughton. West Bridgewater. Whitman,
Alternate present.
at large.
Present.
And I want to go back to, sorry, Duxbury.
Yeah, hello, Matthew Hines, present.
Thank you, Matthew. I believe that we have caught up with everybody who might have joined. So thank you, Madam President, that is a quorum.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you all for attending. So the first item on our agenda tonight is a consent agenda. For June, we have the annual meeting minutes. Then we have the June 2025 financials and the July 2025 financials, as well as a Suicide Prevention Month proclamation. These were all included in your packet, and rather than reviewing them individually, we were hoping that someone would make a motion to approve these 4 items as a consent agenda.
I'll make that motion. Becky?
I'll second it. Thank you. Mary, could you do a roll call on that?
Yes, Avon, Abington,
Accept.
Avon. Bridgewater,
Accept.
Brockton,
Accept.
Duxbury,
Yolando?
East,
Accept, sorry, accept.
that's okay, Matt, thank you. East Bridgewater,
Accept.
Easton,
Accept.
Halifax, Hanover, Hanson,
Accept.
I don't believe Kingston's here. Pembroke,
Accept.
Plymouth, Plimpton, Stoughton, West Bridgewater. Mike Perez is here. Thanks, Mike. Whitman
Accept.
and at large.
Accept.
Thank you.
Sorry, I couldn't figure out the unmute button on my phone. We have our meeting tonight. I'll only be on for 25 minutes and have to jump out.
That's okay. Thank you, Michael, for being here today. Thank you.
Sure.
Appreciate that.
Next is
Becky,
the
you're
finance
muted.
op-
Sorry about that. We'll move on to our Finance Audit Committee meeting report with Brenda Robinson, giving us August 2025 financials that we need to approve, fiscal reserves, and a GASB statement on compensated absences. So I'll turn that over to Brenda.
Brenda muted.
Sorry about that. I unmuted it and it muted itself. Okay, beginning again. At the end of August, we have a positive financial standing. Ideal expenses in the second month of the fiscal year would be 16.67%. The actual expenses were 13.74%. So expenses in August show a 2.93% surplus. Budgeted income over expenses in August was $304,631. Statement of expenditures report shows total expenses for the month at $217,341. Cash position report shows income for the month at $458,726. Disbursements for the month were $512,330. The total cash available at month's end was $1,701,908. OPEB account had a gain of $30,061, bringing the ending balance in the OPEB account to $1,403,791. Budget resources report. Cash receipts being $458,726 brings the total year-to-date receipts to $731,698. The AAA report. Outstanding balance for AAA pass-through programs was $418,608. Outstanding balance for AAA admin and ombudsman programs was $261,560. This brings the total outstanding balance for AAA programs to $680,168. And by the way, over the last 2 or 3 days, we've received quite a bit of money from the AAA money. So these numbers have changed considerably. Volunteer transportation account, beginning balance was $163,464. Donations received were a total of $50, bringing the ending balance in the fund to $163,514. ROM statement and activity. The bank statement balance at the beginning of, this is a little bit different than it has been in the past years. I'm going to show the actual profit and loss statement from our QuickBooks program for ROM. And that shows in August, the total income is $11,700. And it shows total expenses at $17,995.74 for a net income of minus $6,295.74. And the reason the expenses are very high this month was because of the $7,700 insurance. That won't follow us through the year because that is only paid once a year. Okay, and moving down the page a little bit, the bank statement balance at the end of July was $147,775. Deposits and other credits in August were $5,850. Checks and other programs in August were $15,473, bringing the ending bank statement balance to $138,153. Okay, next up are budget reports. And you'll see that this is we now have an active FY26 budget. The ideal expenses in the second month of the fiscal year would be 16.67%. Actual expenses were 13.74%, so expenses in August show a 2.93% surplus. Budgeted income over expenses in August were $304,631. Page 1 expenditures at the end of the month were a total of $446,666. Budgeted funds remaining at the end of the month are a total of $2,805,327. Page 2, our projected grant income at this time is $3,556,624. Page 3, projected pass-through income for the AAA program is $1,531,618, and contractor pass-through funds received through the end of August were a total of $10,151. Lastly is the list of combined accounts payables and cash transfers for the month. And that's the end of the regular financials. And that's followed by a finances at a glance.
Brenda, could we just pause right there?
Oh, sure,
and
sure.
we can
Sorry.
get a vote on whether or not someone is willing to make a motion to accept the
Regular financials. Okay, sorry.
financials. Yes.
I'll make that motion, Becky.
I'll second.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you, Jean Marie. Okay, roll call, please.
Abington,
Accept.
Avon,
Accept.
Bridgewater,
Accept.
Brockton,
Accept.
Duxbury,
Accept.
East Bridgewater,
Accept.
Easton,
Accept.
Hanson,
Accept.
Pembroke,
Accept.
West Bridgewater,
Accept.
Whitman,
Accept.
and at large.
Accept.
That is unanimous.
See, Michael, it helped to have you on for this. And now Brenda will move on with the OCPC and ROM finances at a glance. We started doing this when we wanted to get a handle on if things change with regard to any of our funding. We wanted to know, where do we stand in terms of our cash position and committed money? So this is what Brenda's going to go over.
Okay, summarized finances report on September 22nd. We had total cash balances in all accounts was $1,554,553. The total account balances would be decreased by $317,176, which is the amount of restricted funds, such as the Volunteer Transportation Fund, the OPEB funds, and any payments that were received in advance to be used for specific grants. This leaves total unallotted cash available on September 22nd of $1,237,377. Our accounts receivable balance on September 22nd was a total of $897,730. And again, that number is definitely reduced because we've received quite a bit of money over the last few days. ROM account balance on September 22nd was $135,707. After the August payment, the building loan had a principal balance of $268,520. And that's all for the finances at a glance.
And Madam President, if I could just weigh in, certainly with the fiscal responsibility of this council, but incredible financial staff, with Brenda, Sean, now Paul Amano under the finance, supported by Charlie. We are in really good financial standing and appreciate the hard work that is done on a day-to-day basis. But this one pager will continue to be shared at the council meeting for as long as we need to. But no vote is required on this one pager.
Right. Thank you, Marion. Thank you, Brenda. Appreciate that. We're going to move on to talking about the GASB Statement 101 on compensated absences. Mary, are you going to take the lead on that, or are we going to have Christine take the lead on that?
I think if Christine, just because it came out of the Finance Committee.
Thank you.
All right, so when we met with the auditors, they thoroughly review all of our finances and policies, and they do a tremendous job going through everything. So what they came back with as a liability item, just for us to be aware of, was that they call it out as compensated absences, where we have a group of people who, based on our personnel handbook and longstanding policies, receive compensation for sick time, and it's accrued over time, and this was a liability they called out to us. So what we did was the finance committee has requested that the personnel committee take a look at this and come back to us with some suggested ways to reduce this liability. Not sure if it was something that would be done in, a one-time deal, or if it would take several years to whittle this down. But that's where we stand with it right now.
All right, thank you for that report, Christine. So that's a report out of the Finance Audit Committee meeting, and we will be working with our auditors on the GASB Statement 101 to make sure that we're properly reporting potential liability there. And with that, I'll turn it over to Mary, who may have a note on that, but if not, we'll move on to the September OCPC staff report.
Yeah, I'm going to just go right into the staff report because it was more just the finance committee acknowledged the receipt of the that we need to report, and Brenda and team are already underway on that. So it's not in the report, but yesterday I want to report to the full council that just a block from here, there was a shooting in a park called Finnegan Park. It happened just at the time that staff were leaving the building. We had approximately 5 staff members in the building. City Hall received notice of a lockdown. The library received notice of lockdown. We never received notice of a lockdown other than a friend of mine. But I bring that up because it was in the news. Many interviews were done right outside of our building. It becomes, as I have reported to this council before, we're doing all that we can. I'm doing all that we can. We have security cameras. We've Golden Buddies. So I just wanted to report that we did all we can. I sent an email message out to the full staff to know that security is of the utmost importance to us. So that's number one. That's not on the report. Number two, I alluded to the report. Next Monday, this office is being rented out by AMC for being a location for makeup and dress for the Walking Dead or whatever it's called. There's a movie being shot in downtown. So they're renting. It's kind of a fun thing. Our office, the staff are all going to be working remote that day.
200 hand forged knives to my dorm room and built a Wix website.
What's that?
What?
I don't know who that was.
Who
So
was that
anyway,
about the website?
okay.
Okay.
I'm going to be opening up the office at 4 o'clock in the morning, and they'll be here till 8 o'clock, and we're getting $1,500 for the day.
Wow.
And they did say that if this works out, they will look to utilize this there because there's more movie shooting going on, what have you. Anyway, wanted to let you know about that. Jean Marie and a few of us were on earlier, and we just want to continue to keep positive thoughts to Jean Marie. She had some health things throughout the summer. It's been a challenge, but she's here with us, and we're glad to see her there. And just another member of our board, Noreen O'Toole, keep her in your prayers. She has been battling breast cancer, but I talked to her today. She's in great spirits. I know Dan Silvucci, and I will send along her. She is receiving mail, but she's at Mass General and Spalding, and just again, keep her in your prayers. The rest of the stuff the staff is doing, we continue to be working with our partners, with our regional planning agencies, and from the admin, the economic development team, there is, we keep putting it out here because it's embargoed, but we did get contacted about $100,000 grant to working with Stoughton, Avon, Brockton, and West Bridgewater on a tech hub planning grant. And it's over 2 years, and it's working with the Workforce Investment Board, the comprehensive planning team on a regional housing strategy. If you have not been involved, but those are for the towns of Avon, Brockton, and Stoughton. Joanne, I think, is going to be coming before the council next month to talk about the food hub, and I attended that meeting today. Lots of great discussions with the Plymouth County Commissioners and various entities. AAA, I know David's going to be presenting a little bit further on, just right after this. You know, and again, our transportation department, we finally signed a $1.9 million grant agreement with Federal Highway, and you know, the staff in all departments are doing an incredible job. Please, please, please just do me a favor, take a look. They spend time populating the staff report. Lots of great information, and again, just kudos to all of the staff. And I just want to acknowledge those staff that are also on tonight. And I can't see everybody, but besides Lori and Rhiannon, who are here in the office with me, I have David Klein, and I know that Charlie Kilmer and Megan, and sorry, Bill McNulty, Matt Dyer, Don Sullivan. Thank you, Don, for being on. So again, we're continuing to grow and continue to be assertive in the work that we're doing. So with that, I'm going to go next into the presentation of staff. So our goal is to have a few staff presentation each month, and today is going to be Rhiannon, and it's called More, and she's going to go right into what it stands for. So without further ado, Rhiannon.
Hi everybody, I'm Rhiannon. If we haven't met, I'm a senior comprehensive and sustainability planner here, and the project I'm talking about today is the More Outdoor Recreation Inventory Grant, and the More is the Massachusetts Office for Outdoor Recreation. So the More department is relatively new to the state, just a few years old. They are seeking to expand and highlight existing outdoor recreation opportunities in the state. They have put together this fun matrix of activities you may enjoy participating in Massachusetts based on how you perform it and what it might be geared towards. These are some of the activities that we are looking at in this project. So just to highlight the volume, this is the Massachusetts data set on open space and recreation in the region. They periodically update this as they receive assessor information and open space and recreation plans. Everything in dark green is what's already in permanent conservation throughout our region, and most of which does offer some recreational opportunity. All the other colors that you see on there are other open space and recreation at varying levels of protection in our region. So lots of land to be looked at. For this grant process, it's being run by RPAs across the state. Under Massachusetts, it's obviously funding the grant. RPAs are taking the lead on it. From our conversations, we are not the only ones that receive partial funding to begin this work, but we were not fully funded and have chosen a handful of communities to start with. These include Abington, Whitman, Brockton, and Plymouth. Other towns we may see included throughout this initial round. For example, I said DW Field Park. It's located in Brockton and Avon. We're not going to stop at the Avon line. I'm going to continue to highlight the whole park. So anywhere we have a strong trail network or strong path network that connects from one side to the other, we'll make sure that's done in entirety. The state is optimistic that they will continue to find funding for this project. Obviously, nobody wants a half-done data set, so they are striving to keep us funded. The conversation is generally that it won't be a reapplication, but kind of a re-up, a new contract to keep working with them. For our match for this grant, we're working with Wildlands Trust. They're providing in-kind match. They're providing any data that we need for the lands that they own. which is an incredible amount of all that green space you just saw. So they have been a huge asset. And we will work with them through the fall and winter to collect that data. So when you see Mackenzie and I or any other staff members running through the woods, this is some of the information we're looking for. We're collecting the site name, location, who owns it, if it's under an organization or which municipality, and if there is a website landing page. While we're out there, we're looking for what types of recreation might people enjoy when they get there, a general description of the land uses there, how the land is laid out. And then specific to this project, we're doing accessibility descriptions. So that way, most outdoor recreation spaces are not ADA compliant. This allows you as a user to identify some challenges that you might face and determine on your own if you can navigate this trail comfortably or this recreation space. And I am ready for any questions if you have them, or if you want to come back and talk about it later, please save my contact information and I'm happy to chat about how to further this project. I don't think Plymouth is on tonight, but a shout out to their town planning department and recreation department for providing us with some parking passes. So we did not have to pay to park at some seasonally paid for sites, but we will continue to reach out to communities.
What I love about the work that Rhiannon's doing along with Mackenzie, but it's also cross departments, transportation with Matt Dyer, the trails, there's a whole host of things. And the really great part about it is all these open space plans that have been being worked on in many of the communities, that data is being developed and used in the work that Rhiannon is doing in this case. So I know that there may be a couple questions, but again, don't forget that all of staff contacts are on our website as well. So even though it's in here, but feel free to reach out to Rhiannon.
And
Thank
I do
you,
want to
Rhiannon.
say that if council delegates or alternates, if our council members want to talk to people who are in our staff, I mean, we try not to use up all their time, but if you have an area of interest, it's really important that there's an engagement between the community through the delegates and our staff members. So it's a real invitation. It's not just there for show. I do want to say this looks like an awesome project because when I think of using open space and making it more accessible and usable to people, I think about three things immediately come to mind. One is the health, right? The more people get out and do things, the healthier we'll be, which affects healthcare costs. Then two, we're about using spaces and valuing spaces that make people more closely connected to the environment. And three, I think of it in terms of economic development because a lot of times when businesses are trying to recruit people to come to states, they look at things like what kind of outdoor recreation opportunities are out there because it's a big part of people's lives. So this work that Rhiannon and who's working with you on this?
Mackenzie and then Matt Dyer and anybody else? That's it.
I think that's it for the moment. Unless
So
anybody
this
wants
team
to
is
come hike
doing-
with me.
Yeah, okay, so people can also volunteer to help her. All right, thank you, Rhiannon. Anybody else have any comments about this tonight? Or are we gonna move on to our next one?
We are gonna move right on to David Klein, and I just want to acknowledge that Jonathan Seelig from Halifax is on. Thank you for joining us, Jonathan. So David, if you would like to, and thank you, Mike Perez, for being on for tonight.
Thank you.
Sure. Thanks,
David?
Mary. Hi, everyone. We're going to be talking about two things. Primarily, the first thing is going to be this disaster and emergency preparedness plan. And if you could move to the next slide, Mary. First, I want to frame this a little bit. The purpose of the emergency preparedness plan, which is, which the state wanted us to do, is to be able to coordinate and maintain older adult services during an emergency or during a disaster. Now, for us, what that means is our direct services are the two ombudsman programs, the long-term care ombudsman program for the nursing homes and rest homes, and the assisted living ombudsman programs, which we keep getting reminded in July. We had that deadly fire down in Fall River. And so these are important programs, and those are our responsibilities. We have another responsibility is the Area Agency on Aging, and that's that just more of a kind of an umbrella responsibility to help our partner organizations communicate and share our expertise with them, because as Mary's noted, and it's really true, we have a lot of expertise in the office in a lot of different areas. So it's people think of older adults as like a separate category amongst ourselves, but really we're affected by everything else that the planning organization or the regional planning agency does. And so anyway, that's something that we can bring to the table to help our community partners. What we're not is a direct provider of other services to the general public, which is not to say that we're not helping finance them. You know, when Brenda and Sean are going through the financial plan for financial update, and they mention pass-through funds, well, those pass-through funds are grants that come from the state to OCPC, and then they go from OCPC over to our prime beneficiary of this, which is Old Colony Elder Services, or OCES. And the top two things that we are funding through those caregiver services are nutrition and caregiving. Information and assistance is something that OCES also does. We don't really fund it, but the caregiving and nutrition is well over $1 million between those two categories. And they do a certain amount of transportation planning, which we also assist with. Next slide, please. So the components of the emergency preparedness are completion of self-assessment surveys for things like fire safety. The second one is probably the one that we have to work on a little bit more strongly than others, and that's they call it a COOP, a continuity of operations plan, which we'll speak on more in depth a little in the next slide. Obviously, then there's the normal things like posting evacuation instructions from our building, coordinating with local management agencies. And this will not be the first time that we address this. This is the first time, but we're going to be doing an annual review of the emergency plan and the continuity of operations plan each year. Next slide. So the continuity of operations, key components are working remotely. And I think that we can all agree that that's something that our organization has done very well over the past 5 years since COVID. And I don't think it's a hardship for us to pivot to that one way or the other. We also engage with right technology. So we have good backup communication systems and redundant data and storage to our client records. Next slide. So pivoting over to the area plan, which we voted on, or we asked you guys to vote on during our annual meeting in late June. The plan has been updated and with contributions from several of my colleagues, primarily Lori Muncy, who did an yeoman's work, incredible job updating the plan, and it wouldn't really be the same plan without her. In any case, the emergency plan fits into the area plan because the area plan is a 4-year plan for federal fiscal years 2026 through 2029, and federal fiscal year 2026 starts next Wednesday. So, we're right on the precipice. There's components in the area plan that you can read about that are the parts of the emergency plan that are in the area plan. It's attachment H. It's toward the end of the area plan. And I think that Megan has a website link that we're going to see momentarily.
The link both separately for the disaster preparedness plan as well as the full area plan is in the chat right now. And then you have access to it in the Google Drive, which is where this links to.
Great. Thank you, Megan. So a little history on the status of the area plan. We submitted the final plan on August 27th. And we received feedback from AGE, and just to mention that AGE is not really an acronym, but it's more of a nickname for the Executive Office of Aging and Independence. That's what they want to be called. They want to be called AGE. And so we call them AGE. They sent us feedback on September 5th. We resubmitted the plan with edits on September 9th, which is actually a pretty good turnaround because I think September 5th was a Friday, September 9th was a Monday or Tuesday, so not so bad. And we just received final approval for the plan late last week on the 19th. And so I think we're going to be posting the final version, or maybe we've already posted the final version that Megan was just referring to. Does anybody have any questions, either about this process or any of the work that went into it?
David, you need a vote on this approval, correct?
Thank you, Mary. A vote is needed to approve. We even put this in there specifically for me, and I still didn't read it. A vote is needed to approve the disaster and emergency preparedness plan.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Thanks, Sandra.
I don't know if there's any questions if they're not.
Any questions on this emergency preparedness plan?
Oh, and the roll call.
Seeing
is
none, roll call?
Abington,
Yes, approve.
Avon, Bridgewater,
Approve.
Brockton,
Accept.
Duxbury.
Approve.
Thank you, Matt. East Bridgewater,
Approve.
Easton,
Approve.
Hanson, oops, sorry, Halifax.
Approve. That's okay.
Thank you, Jonathan. Hanson,
Approve.
Pembroke,
Approve.
West Bridgewater left, Whitman,
Approved.
and at large.
Approve.
Thank you all very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, David. Any other questions for David? People forget a lot of times that we are the Area Agency on Aging for how many communities, David?
23.
23. So we have 17 communities that make up our planning region. And we have 23 where we're the Area Agency on Aging, and I apologize for my dogs in the background. Okay, we have one more.
Yep, you muted yourself, but I will, I'll have Charlie go right ahead in presenting. We alluded to this early on, but Charlie, please walk through the prioritization plan, please.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Good evening. We have a brief presentation for you tonight, particularly since we really haven't gotten going on this as of yet. We just had the signed grant agreement just a couple of weeks ago, and we were reminiscing. I was checking my arithmetic, and it was 16 months ago that we actually submitted the grant application for this. So, we as planners are patient people, and it's finally come to fruition, and we kept our fingers crossed, and here we are today. So as the name implies, it's a prioritization process pilot program. Around the office, we've been calling it the P4, but we've been working to come up with some type of clever planning acronym as apropos to something like this. And I believe there's going to be a survey later on for the council members on a potential name for this as well. So if you go on to our next slide, one of the things we're responsible for here in the transportation group is providing the staff to the Metropolitan Planning Organization. And they develop some key programs and projects through the Transportation Improvement Program, which is a 5-year prioritized list of capital and operating assistance, the Long Range Transportation Plan, which is a 20-year look forward and needs assessment of the region, and then our Unified Planning Work Program, which is basically a scope of work and budget for our transportation staff. So what the intent of this actual program here that we applied for the grant is to take a holistic view and open the hood on all of these programs, see how projects are structured, and then come up with an evaluation of the evaluation criteria itself, the prioritization process, and then how projects are actually implemented, and come up with best practices and how can we do it better, do it in a more transparent fashion, and involve key public and stakeholders along the way. One of the products that will result from this is actually an interactive dashboard where we'll have simultaneous workflows on our website to show projects moving through the pipeline and at key points where we're seeking input from stakeholders and the public. They can weigh in and use a pin map to rank and point out key aspects of projects that are important to them and their community. So it's actually going to be pretty exciting. And on the next slide, here's some of the criterion when we submitted the grant application. And this was consistent with the then administration's themes with the grant. Of folks at Federal Highway, when we're working on a grant agreement, we asked them, it's like, hey, given some of the federal changes that are going on, can we still use these items to look at? And they said yes, but just keep in mind, some of these may change. One of the things we do in our transportation improvement program, we have measures such as state of good repair, mobility, economic impact, environmental impact, etc. So there's some commonalities and some variations here. So that's what's going to be really valuable about this process. I note that sometimes with these planning grants, it's heavily loaded with consultant time, but we will be hiring a consultant, but I note that the majority of the funds are actually for OCPC staff itself, and this will be a project that transcends departments, transportation, comprehensive planning, economic development, etc. And as we're going through this, I'd be remiss if I didn't give a special shout out to Paul Amano, our grant and physical compliance officer. He was instrumental in pulling together some of the big ideas and doing the legwork on letters of support and actually submitting the grant application. So Paul deserves a lot of credit for this grant coming through and many of our other grants. Is he's a person we've really come to rely on to be a great resource and asset to our team. So on the next slide.
Charlie, can I interject there for just a moment? I think that this is worth reiterating to the council members that this is a tremendous opportunity for us to use the expertise of people like Charlie to help to inform how we can do process improvement for the Department of Transportation. We are only one of how many regional planning
16.
agencies in the country?
Oh, actually, we are one of 16 awardees for this grant across the country.
Across the country. So we're one of 16, and thanks to the efforts of Charlie and Paul Amano and the rest of our staff who worked on this grant application, but also I think putting forth the fact that we have a very experienced team in this area and a very robust regional planning agency. This is a project that not only brings us a tremendous amount of money over the next 2 years, but also as an opportunity to have people really put together their brains and come together with a way to make the transportation planning even better. And so I really want to congratulate our team on putting this together and winning this award and look forward to the work you're doing. So now I'll let you go on to your project goals after I told you guys thank you and gave you a few accolades.
Sure, thank you. So you kind of touched upon some of these goals along the way. One of the themes in the transportation world is performance-based planning. So looking at how the improvements will move the needle on, say, levels of service, meaning how efficiently are your intersections operating? How much safer could an intersection be if you implemented these countermeasures? What will be the magnitude of pavement improvement cost index if you implement this? For example, pavement we rated on a scale from 0 to 100, with 100 being perfect. So if it's rating at a 50, and if you do the project, obviously you hope to get up to about a 95 or 99. So that will all be quantified in the publicly accessible dashboard. And one of the things we'd like to see is projects moving along a timeline. So if somebody, say in Brockton or Pembroke, they know there's a project on such and such a numbered route or an intersection, they can see where it's moving through the design process and when it would theoretically be ready for advertisement. So I think that would answer a lot of questions along the way, and we can use that as a tool as we implement quarter studies and have public meetings. And this is something that I'd like to have just updated all the time. So this could really answer a lot of questions, and because we get questions, hey, where's my project at? Or constituents will say, well, we haven't heard about this one in a while. It's like, well, it's at 100% design, so it's really close, and it's going to be going out to bid next month. So this dashboard would be really exciting. So, and then overall timeline, we hope to be about 1.5 years on this project. And as I mentioned earlier, most of the money will be going to staying with OCPC, and we'll be hiring a consultant and hopefully have an RFP out perhaps next month.
Oh, great. Do we have any questions about this for Charlie?
If there are no questions, and I know I haven't given folks a chance, but a couple things, we will be doing a press event on this. This is big deal news. We will be working with the congressional delegation to do so, and of course, keeping all of you abreast when that will happen. But in addition to that, thank you, Megan, for putting Charlie's contact in the chat. But take a look at these slides. Actually, Megan, just go back to the last slide for a second. So these slides and the road safety audit slides and today's PowerPoint presentation, behind all of this is our communications team. And I would be remiss if we did not, right? Because sometimes words are words, but sometimes you need that visual to represent what we're looking to say. And in our world, we have a lot of acronyms and words that folks may not be having on the tip of their tongue. But just again, thank you to Megan working with the team. And Becky, you had said it perfectly. It is a great team. So it's transportation and comprehensive planning and economic development and administration all rowing in the same boat. And our hope is that this is the first of many big grants like this. So thank you, Charlie, and of course to Paul and all who are going to be part of this effort. And I believe that is it for our presentation. Megan, did you figure out a way how to do the renaming of the?
Yes, we have a poll and everyone should see it. If not, I have a backup plan. Please hold.
And Megan, because there's also a couple of members who are here in office, so we'll send the link along to them for them to participate. Okay.
Okay, so did everyone see, did the poll pop up on your screen?
It just did.
Okay. We'll leave it open for a minute.
Just for those, and if I can read through this, so the official DPP name, as Charlie said, PRISM is one. Some of the acronyms, just trying to put together. STRIVE, Strategic Transportation Ranking for Investment in Visionary Evaluation. PIVOT, Prioritization Initiative for Vision-Oriented Transportation. Navigate, Framework for Regional Assessment. I think that's it.
I'm realizing everyone can probably see this, but you can't vote, can you?
Oh.
No, we can't vote.
Nope. Okay. There it is. So I have a link that you can fill out a survey that we'd love it if you did, and we can report back to the team what your thoughts are. But it's all these same choices. And in your chat momentarily, I will have a link that you can go to now or later. And that should go there now. And so now I'm going to. Oh, now I can. No, it's fine. Just gonna leave it at that.
And
I think
it works. I'll get that to you.
Oh, I was trying to figure out if it came through.
Megan, will Preston be able to access it if he goes to the meeting invite, correct?
Yep. I will. Does everyone care if I send you an email?
Megan, let's do this. Why don't you at the end of this meeting, send out an email to everyone, say for those that left, because a number of folks that left, give it out to everybody. If you can vote this way, great. If you hadn't had a chance, we'd just like to weigh in with your thoughts. And then we'll go from there. And that is the presentations for for today. As staff, I think gives you a little bit of insight. These are just 3 projects of lots of projects that we're working on, and we'll be looking forward to doing the same type of presentation for next week. Madam President, I think we can go on to the next item.
Okay, great. So our next item would be the Personnel Committee report with Stephen Santasonio.
Thank you, Becky. A couple of tough acts to follow, but anyway, on Tuesday, September 23rd, the Personnel Committee met at 5 p.m. In attendance were myself, Christine Joy, Becky Coletta, Lee Hobman, and Sandra Wright, as well as a few members of the OCPC staff. There are a couple of updates, revisions to the personnel handbook that were made. The first item discussed was an amendment to the sick time policy due to a liability brought up at the beginning of our audit. Currently, the handbook states that any council member with 25 years or more of service shall, upon retirement or death, be compensated for up to 130 days of accumulated sick time that the employee has on record. The committee voted favorably to amend the personnel handbook, to grandfather this benefit into those hired before October 1st, 2025 only. The second item was to add a whistleblower protection policy into the handbook, and will also be added to the proposed financial policies. The committee voted favorably to adopt the new language. In addition, Sandra Wright made a motion to enter executive session to discuss personal strategies, which were all, unanimously approved. Lee Hodman subsequently made a motion to approve the executive director's proposal for personnel strategy. As well, this was unanimously approved. And finally, Christine Joy made a motion to adjourn the executive session. That was seconded by Lee Hodman, and as well, that was unanimously approved. And finally, Personnel Committee reviewed any other items and then made a motion to adjourn at 5:43 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. And on the personnel handbook changes, I think we do need a vote of the council. So just to be clear, these personnel, so we have 2 items in the personnel handbook that were modified. One was to provide that people who were members of the OCPC staff before December 1st, 2025 will be provided the benefit that if they remain with OCPC for 25 years and retire or die, that they will be paid out for their sick time. This does relate back to that GASB Statement 101 on carrying liabilities for compensated absences, which we will continue to look at in other ways. But the personnel handbook will say that people hired after that point will not be offered that benefit. The second change is with respect to adding whistleblower provisions so that there is a process for people to be whistleblowers. And so the question is, do we have a motion to approve those personnel changes as recommended by the Personnel Committee?
I'll make that motion, Becky.
Thanks, Christine. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Sandra. Anybody else? Any questions or comments?
I have a question.
John Costa.
Is there any way we can see the actual language that's in there for the whistleblower?
There is, we did.
It should
review
be in
with
your
the-
packets, John,
Okay.
and it's also in the Google Drive. Mhm.
Okay, thank you. I missed that then. Thank you.
And this, it is on page 60 of the packet that's attached to the meeting invite
Oh,
tonight. So
actually,
if
I
you go
think I
into
did.
the-
Oh, hold on. I'm going to the wrong. Hold on. Sorry.
I see it on the packet on page 60.
Yeah, here. So.
Yeah. So
You see
here would
that,
be the
Alicia?
whistleblower protection policy. And this is based on recommendations from our auditors, am I correct?
It's actually Paul Omano did some research on this. It came from language that the city of Brockton had at their recommendation of their auditor. So basically we borrowed and replicated. So it does come from an auditing firm for the recommendation.
Okay. I mean, one of the key elements is that there are people that someone can go to if, particularly as an organization that has a lot of grant funding, if someone believes that there is financial mismanagement or misuse of funds, there is a process for reporting that. And then at that point, there's a process for investigating it through the executive director or someone designated by the executive director. If and then the other key element of any whistleblower protection policy is that we cannot retaliate someone who in good faith raises a concern or participates in an investigation of the agency. So what it tells someone who's within the agency is that there will be employment protection for them if they raise a concern about misconduct, fraud, waste, or abuse.
And President Coletta, so this actually also came from Paul Romano in one of our grant agreements. They had asked us, or I think our application, but one of our grant agreements had asked for a whistleblower policy, and we didn't have one. So with that, we want to continue to bring in funding to this organization, and it made sense to have it in place.
That's very good context. So people do expect to see this from someone who's receiving a lot of public funds. And for whatever reason, we had never adopted a policy.
We learn along the way. Would you like me to call the roll?
Any other questions before we vote on the motion? John, did you have any follow-up on that?
No, I'm fine now. Thank you.
Becky,
All right,
did we have a second motion? I heard a first one, but I didn't hear a second.
I just did one motion for both
I
changes.
mean, people approving it, people
Oh, I
make a
had
motion to
Christine and
approve.
Sandra.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yes, I
Christine made
did.
the motion and Sandra seconded it.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, thanks. All right, roll call.
Abington,
Accept.
Avon, Bridgewater,
Accept.
Brockton,
Accept.
Duxbury,
Accept.
East Bridgewater,
Accept.
Easton, Jean Marie, if you're muted.
Sorry,
I'll come back. That's okay. Halifax,
Accept.
Hanson,
Accept.
Pembroke,
Accept.
Whitman,
Accept.
and at large.
Accept.
Okay,
Unanimous.
thank you very much. We have the legislative committee report.
Madam
Mary
President,
Waldron.
actually, Madam President, before you move on, there were two items in the personnel report. It was also accepting the executive committee's report.
Oh, yeah. My question is, do we have the actual, what we accepted in that executive session, I mean?
I think not at this, because that was an executive session, but in the minutes, it reflects the, what we had, I know, thank you, Jonathan. Sorry, I'm Megan, I can't read because you have the, can you pull down the roll call, please? Thank you.
Yep.
In the minutes, if we scoot up, it did reflect that there was a recommendation for personnel adjustments.
Right, but if we're asking the full council to vote on that, I think we have to make the recommendation public now. Or do we, I mean, because it would be like a budget item, right? Where we would show, how do we do annual
My
increase?
understanding is that you accept the executive committee's report, because we did report out in terms of any kind of financial adjustments, and it will be reflected in the budget going forward.
Good. What is the
That's what
report? What is the report out?
What we have, it's showing on the screen right now, the minutes.
So
the
we
meeting.
approved the executive director's proposal for personnel strategy adjustments, but there's nothing on here that explains what the personnel strategy adjustments were.
Because it is, I mean,
It's no
I
longer
thought that
covered
this is
by
what I sent you
executive
earlier
session.
today.
Now that, huh?
I thought I sent this to you earlier today for review and approval because we needed to vote on this in order for it to be effective for the budget going forward.
Right. I'd just like to say, so essentially what happened is that the proposal for personnel strategy was for some salary adjustments for people who had taken less than 3% for getting us through the potential for less grant funding, because we hadn't yet signed the PPPP grant and we had not yet signed some other grants. And so when we were establishing the budget, we were very conservative. And so there were people who voluntarily took less than 3%. And this is an adjustment to say thank you for helping us through that period. And but we're going to be okay giving those full amounts. Is that a good synopsis, Mary?
Mm-hmm. It is.
Okay, so based on that, do we have a motion to accept the Personnel Committee's recommendation that we approve these personnel strategy adjustments?
I'll make that motion, Becky.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Christine and Sandra. Any questions? Can we go to roll call then?
Abington,
Accept.
Avon, Bridgewater,
Accept.
Brockton,
Accept.
Duxbury,
Accept.
East Bridgewater, I think was.
Accept.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Easton,
Accept.
Halifax had to leave, Jonathan had to leave. Hanson,
Accept.
Pembroke,
Accept.
Whitman,
Accept.
and at large.
Accept.
Thank you. Now we're on legislative update, and Megan, I know you can bring that up quickly. So again, Charlie, myself, Paul Lumano, and Lori Muncy, we attend monthly meetings of the regional planning agencies from across the state, and we as an organization, as an association, if you will, had been working with a consultant, working with the legislators. I ended up going up to the Beacon Hill to testify. This has to deal with our contributions into the state retirement system, whether we as a regional planning agency are accepted. Your dad was a very strong fighter for this and supporter of this, I must say. So where things are right now, the Public Service Committee reported out both our proposals favorably, the House and the Senate bill. The next steps is for it to go to Ways and Means to get a third reading. This legislation, I've been here for close to 6 years as of December. This is how long, and before then, how not only OCPC, but the other regional planning agencies have been fighting to get our recognition for who we stand for and how we work with our communities. So that is the update. We keep this on the OCPC agenda because we need to report back out to you, and hopefully it said after Labor Day there were a meeting, but I'm not sure if I've heard of any meetings with the Ways and Means chairs, but anyway, that is the status, and we will continue to have hope that we can see this come to fruition.
Thank you, Mary, for that update on the retirement legislation. So with that, I don't have anything else that we did not anticipate and put on our agenda. We are going to ask you to save the date of Tuesday, December 2nd for our OCPC Summit, where we invite also other people, other connections in our community and our delegates to an event where we highlight the work of OCPC for the year. It's going to be Tuesday, December 2nd at the Jones Trading Post in Kingston, Massachusetts, which is a beautiful place. So hopefully everyone can put that on our calendar, on their calendars, and join us that evening. And we can celebrate all the good work that OCPC is doing this year. And with that, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Make that motion.
So moved. Yeah, second.
Thank you, Stephen and Sandra. And we can just all wave and say unless somebody wants to object, we just say good night.
Good night. Good night. Thank
night,
you,
everybody.
everyone.
Aye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Have a good month.